Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and today I'm checking out the GoolRC T5. This is a line of sight quadcopter, however they do sell a 5.8 GHz FPV version as well as a Wi-Fi version, but this is just the line of sight version. So why might you get something like this? Well, let's say you've been flying around with a little Hubsan quadcopter and you want to advance from that onto something a little bit bigger, then this is really good because it's using geared motors, so you've got more power than those little micro quadcopters. So you do get given some landing legs with this and some prop protectors, but to keep the weight down I have taken those off. There's no camera on this version either. We do have a little outlet there, so if you have made your own FPV plate then you can plug that in there. There's an on and off switch, and the battery is a 400 milliamp one cell using a micro lossy connector. Now, one thing that I didn't like about this is that this was screwed in. You are given a little screwdriver to unscrew it, but the battery bay had a screw in it and also the transmitter had a screw in it as well. You've got some LEDs underneath here as well, and that's pretty much it for the quadcopter. For the transmitter, it takes 3 AA batteries and there's no altitude hold on this one. We have got our flip button there, a rate button there, so you've got 3 different rates. You've got headless mode and 1 key return all on that button, and then that button does nothing. This one over here, if you have the camera version, that one takes a photo and that one starts and stops video recording. The rest of these here are for the trims, so let's power up and take it for a fly. Now actually, I think in this instance you have to turn the quadcopter on first, so let's do that. So on button there, we've got some flashing lights, and then turn this on, you see the lights start to flash, lift the throttle up and down, and we have a bind. So this is mode 2 only, so I'm going to try out my mode 2 skills, and let's first of all start in the lowest rate and see how I get on. I'm going to give this a hand launch, as the grass is a bit too long. Obviously if I put the legs on it I'd have a better chance at taking off on the grass, but let's go. Okay, straight away I can see that the low rates are going to be a problem in this wind. It's really docile, but it's not really moving anywhere. So let's move up to that second rate. And that's a little bit better, but again, more sort of a beginner rate. And let's go up one more into third rate, and we have a lot more throw there. And because there's no camera, this thing has got a lot of punch. Look at that. It's quite a lot for a brush quadcopter. I'm not really used to that. See those LEDs quite nicely, although it is becoming dusk here. Let's go for a flip. Nice snappy flips. Yeah. Doesn't really need to gain much height because there's not a lot of weight tying it down. Go for a forward flip. Yeah, really snappy. So I'm just going to fly it around a little bit. Try and up my mode 2 flying skills, a bit of nose in flying. I would definitely say that I was an intermediate to novice flyer in mode 2, but it's really nice this. By the way, it costs about $35, which is really cheap for a bigger quadcopter than something like a micro. So I can really recommend this one. It flies nice. Loads of power too. And you can come completely off the throttle. Try a funnel. Yeah, really nice. Okay, I'm going to do something that I don't usually do on this channel. And I'm going to try out headless mode. So let's give that a go. Press the button and the lights start to flash, so that's forward and backwards. But now if I yaw the quadcopter, forward and backwards should stay the same, and it does. It's really confusing if you're a beginner though using this mode. I would not use it. The lights are flashing there to show that it's in headless mode. So no matter which angle the quadcopter's in, forward is always forward. So it does work, but I would really play about with that when you have learned to fly properly. Is that an LVC I'm getting now? Let me just come out of headless mode now. I thought the lights flashing was an LVC, but it's just the headless mode. So back into headless mode, yeah, and the lights flash. So what you should be able to do with headless mode is not quite working there, I think, because of the wind. Let's come out of headless mode. Which way are we facing? There we go. You should be able to do like a pirouette or something and it keeps the orientation, but I think it's too windy for that. It only knows its heading, it can't sort of account for drift, I guess. So I'd need a calmer day to test that out. Let's try getting this thing closer to us so I can get a bit of a screenshot. Oh, press the flip button by accident there, but it doesn't matter because you have to hold down the flip button to do a flip. Trying to get it close to us, but the wind is crazy. It's just blowing it away from me. Apologies for the wind noise on the camera. It is really fighting the wind nicely though. It is such a dull day. Overcast and dull, that is what we usually get here. They cut the grass though, which is nice. Yeah, I have no complaints about this one. It's a really nice flyer. Definitely recommend it. And very cheap as well. It's not going to break the bank. I think it's about $35. I'll put a link in the description. Those lights are really nice. I imagine if it was more sunny, you wouldn't be able to see them as well. So I'm just going to fly around here. We've got no LVC yet, so nice flight time, but of course we've got no camera to power, so that explains that. Let's try a few flips. That usually uses the battery up. Try to get a nice close one. See if I can take my head off. Just too windy. I think we've got some people doing Pokemon hunting here. Classic. I am all for the Pokemon app, but it doesn't half get this field full of people just wandering around like they're crazy, but then who am I to say? Standing in the middle of the field flying a quadcopter definitely draws just as much attention. And it feels like the power is... No, I thought it was lacking power then, but I think it's just the wind. It looks really cool, this quadcopter. Big punch out and a flip. It is not giving up at all. Another punch out. It's got a lot of power, this one. It's definitely helping me with my mode 2 skills. Flying nose in. Really stable, this one. Of course, it is stuck in sort of a self-level mode. Oh, looks like we've got LVC there. So I'm going to bring it in for a landing. Get it on the grass. Really nice. Yeah, so I recommend this quadcopter, and thanks so much for watching. It's going to be a nice little practice quad. As always, please continue to subscribe. Cheers.